All right, today I am planting out some of my cool season greens, and I want to tell you how to know when it's time to plant these in your own space. So in this tray, I have some Toscano kale, some Napa cabbage, my favorite, and some red leaf lettuce. All these could be started directly in the garden, but I do like to get a little jump start by starting indoors, and I have found that I get a faster harvest and a more certain harvest for particular plants like cabbage and kale and even the red lettuce when I start them indoors. So these are cool season plants. What that means is they grow when the temps range from like 35, 45 degrees Fahrenheit up to 75, maybe 80 degrees Fahrenheit. You can switch that over for Celsius. I think that's like, oh, I'm going to show my ignorance with Celsius. Anyway, do the math. Basically, there is always a chance of frost during the cool season. So we're under frost threat for another like almost 2 months here. But you can see how many greens are growing in the garden even right now and will be for the next few months, even though we might have a frost or 2 or 3 in the coming weeks. So I'm going to be planting these out today. The way I know that they're ready to go is I have true leaves on all the plants. So they've already gone past their first 2 little cotyledon, or however you call it, leaves. I've got true leaves on the plants, and I've already hardened them off, which means for the last few weeks I've been bringing them out, letting them sit on a sunny day like this or a partly sunny day, and just letting them warm up to the natural elements outside. I know that the temps coming up for the next 7 to 10 days are going to be favorable for these. We don't have like extreme temps one way or the other. So I know that these little plants are ready to go out into the garden. So I like to plant mine early in the morning and to let them get really nice and settled, water them in well, so they have a full day in the garden before they hit nighttime temps, which is when it's going to drop down a little bit more, especially in this cool season time. So I get these into the garden in the early morning, get them watered in well, check on them again at night, and then I may cover them up for the first few days. So I might put like a light frost cloth on these plants in the first few days that they're growing, just to be sure that they don't, drop in temperature so much that it shocks the plant. So I've been doing this now for probably 3 or 4 years. I did this even in Chicago, where the temps were more extreme. Started these indoors about 30 days or so before ready to plant outdoors. Move them out, and I get a really early great harvest on things like Napa cabbage and Toscano kale. So if you're trying to figure out when is the best time to move your plants out into the garden, if you're growing these cool season plants, they can go out as soon as the soil is workable, as soon as you know that the temps are ranging between 45 and 75, and when you know you don't have a big winter storm coming like tomorrow. So as long as they have, I would say 10 to 14 days to get settled into the garden before there might be a frost or some severe weather, they should be good to go. Again, we're planting frost tolerant plants during this time period, and you can always cover these up with a little bit of frost cloth to help them weather through a couple of rough nights as they get their setting. But if you wait until frost has passed and you've entered the warm season, most of these plants are going to bolt and go to seed almost immediately. So you want to go ahead, get these in the ground while it's still cool at the very start of the season, as soon as your soil is workable, and you're going to get a huge harvest that you love so much. So I'm going to get busy now planting these plants, and now you know when you can start yours too. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.